Leave the World Behind. Have you seen it? I have. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Leave the World Behind on Netflix. This is a movie based on the book, I believe, by the same name, and it's the very first movie produced by the Obamas. Barack and Michelle Obama have signed a deal with Netflix to produce original content, and this is their very first entry. Now, there is a lot of chatter about this online. It's currently the #1 most searched movie on the platform, and there's kind of a split opinion about it. Some say it's great, it's amazing, the Obamas hit it out the park, this is a beautiful movie. Some say it sucks, it's too long, it's boring, and it's not really a movie. It's kind of like just really quick, cheap Netflix garbage to keep you subscribed to the platform. Now, where do I fit in there? What's my opinion about it? Well, I'm kind of more aligned with the latter. It's just cheap Netflix garbage. They throw it out there to keep you subscribed. It's not really a movie. You see, in my opinion, movies have acts, right? Your first act, it's an introduction. You're getting involved in the world. You're kind of seeing what's going on. Second act, you're getting more into the story. Things are getting revealed. You get to the good part. And a third act, okay, there's a conclusion of the story. Maybe it's a toss-up for a sequel, maybe a trilogy, something like that. But whatever's going on in the first movie, there's some kind of conclusion, an ending. But this wasn't really that. It was like an extended first act that lasted way too long. Let me get into the plot of the movie, then we're going to keep on going. So here is the cover again. You have Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali, Ethan Hawke, and Mahala. I have no idea who that last person is. I saw her in the movie, but this is my very first time seeing her. Now, the plot is, without giving a whole lot of spoilers, I mean, there might be a few spoilers here, so spoiler alert, I suppose. The plot is there's a cyber attack happening to people, and they're trying to figure out what's going on the whole time. They're getting hit with noise attacks, cyber attacks. Their phones aren't working. The cable is spotty. It's really weird. Although it looked like they had power and they had gas to drive across the whole Long Island, but different story. I digress. The point is that there's a cyber attack and they were trying to figure out what's happening to them the entire time. And that was really it. Now, a few subplots. They're out there on Long Island, and the family that is with Julia Roberts and her family, they rented a house in Long Island. They're white, of course. The race matters in a minute. I'll explain. So they rent a house in Long Island to get away from New York City. Now, the owner of the house, this is where Mahershala Ali and his daughter, who is at least 26 years old, we'll talk about that in a minute. They come back to the house that they own, and they're saying, hey, we know that you guys are renting our house right now, but we need to come and stay here. We'll give you some money, all this, that, and the third. And then from that point, there is distrust. Okay, who are these people? Do they really own the house? Can you even do that? I'm going to call the company, which I guess would be an Airbnb. But they can't call anybody, and they can't really do anything because the phone lines are not working. The cyber attack is beginning, although at this point, they don't know what's happening. So they go to the house, they stay there, and there's distrust automatically because who are these people that came to the house, middle of the night? Is it even really their house? They might be the housekeeper. So now there's some elements of racism that are brewing in the eyes and the minds of some people who are watching the film. Now, that is a lot more evident in the scene we're going to watch in just a moment, but that is how they meet. Now, throughout the movie, things are happening, and the cyber attack is ramping up. They're getting hit with a noise attack, and that made one of the kids' teeth start to fall out, and they were becoming closer as a result of the things that were happening to them. Now, there was some really strange moments. First of all, there was unnecessary sexual tension here. The daughter, Mahershala Ali's daughter, who is, again, 26 years old, she was kind of saying some inappropriate things to Julia Roberts' husband in the movie. It was really weird. But then later on, she's like, oh, well, he really wants to do me, talking to the father. trying to paint the guy to be a creep, although she's the one at her age kind of coming on to him, talking about, hey, do you vape? There's weed in here. Let's go out here by the pool and hang out. It was really strange. Then Mahershala Ali and Julia Roberts have a moment while they're listening to music and they're dancing and they're getting a little bit huggy. And then she's like, oh, well, we're married and we can't do anything. It was totally unnecessary. Okay. It was just weird. It didn't make any sense. And then also there was a lot of just random rap music being played. But okay, you have random rap music while at the same time you have one of the kids from the white family, Julia Roberts family. She's talking about how much she wants to watch Friends the entire time. And then there's like a Friends cameo at a certain point where she's actually watching the show. And then they have a Starbucks product placement. And you know, the reason why I know it was a product placement is because they literally said Starbucks and they showed a cup and they zoomed in on the cup where you saw the logo. And it was right next to a computer that was obviously a MacBook, but there was no logo on that. It was covered up. So obviously this was an ad for Starbucks and for Friends for some reason. It was like, how did that really work? How does the whole thing? I think that's pretty much Netflix's model. Since you are not paying for a ticket, you're paying for a subscription. Let's generate revenue in other ways. And they also cut revenue in other ways. You see, this movie, you have some big name people, I suppose, Julia Roberts, Ethan Hawke. You have these big name people, but you had, and I counted here, a grand total of 13 people in the entire movie. Okay. There was one lady that showed up for about 2 minutes, Mexican lady. She was there for about 2 to 3 minutes of the movie, and you never saw her again, including everybody you saw on screen. There were 13 people. It's like they rented a couple of Airbnbs in the shed, and they filmed right there. Long dialogue scenes, long drawn out stuff, not too much action. I think there might have been one kind of big green screen action sequence at the very beginning when a boat ran aground the beach. And that was pretty much the extent of the action. It was mostly just a bunch of dialogue and a menace that was invisible, speaking about the cyber attack. Then they get to the point where they show the prepper. This is Ethan Hawke, I believe. And he is talking about how he knew this is all going to happen. And the noise attack happened in Cuba and they lost their teeth there. And the reason why they're talking, having the conversation is because the boys' teeth are falling out and they were trying to get medication. That became a standoff with guns, talking about, don't worry what I have. It was a prototypical prepper stereotype. Okay, that's just what it was. And after the standoff with the guns, they were pretty much cool and it was over. And then Mahershala Ali happens to work for the government, and he knows some guys who are in big positions of power, but he won't say anybody's name because you would know who it is. And then he's saying, well, I knew this might happen, but they couldn't stop it and all this and that. And that's pretty much the movie. Now, going back a little bit, you know, say the best for last. There's one scene in the movie where you have a couple of different things going on. But the main thing that people are taking away from it is racism. Now, let's throw it on the screen right quick. And of course, this will be in the box. But this is a scene between Mahershala Ali and his daughter in the movie. Now, again, this woman is at least 26 years old. She had a bunch of tattoos on her body. They zoomed in on one of them. It's in 1996. So, I mean, my math, I'm not a mathematician, but this is the year 2023. And 1996, that means she is at least 26, maybe 27 years old. Okay. Now, this scene happened because they are in the basement of their house because remember, the family, the white family, Julia Roberts, they had the house rented out and they came back. So, like, okay, you guys stay upstairs. It's all good. We'll stay in the basement because you guys rented the house. So they're down in the basement. He was going to sleep on the floor in the same room as his daughter, but she's like, hey, can you get into bed with me because I'm scared because of the cyber attack and all this and that. So he gets into bed with his probably 7-year-old daughter. All right. Just to be on the same page. So they're infantilizing this fully grown woman. Now let's see what she says. And RIP headphone users.
I'm asking for you to remember that If the world falls apart, trust should not be doled out easily to anyone.
Now, I got to pause a little bit here because I know they're going to try to do copyright and whatnot.
Especially white people. Even Mom would agree with me on that.
So she's saying, hey, you know, things are falling apart. The world's coming to an end, all this and that. And don't just trust anybody, you know, especially the white man. And at the end, she's saying even Mom would agree with me on that. Her mother, I guess his wife, was not here. She was on a plane for a business trip, and the plane probably crashed because with the cyber attack, the GPS and the systems and everything was failing. So you had planes crashing, you had boats, ships running around the beach, and then you had a bunch of Teslas that had the autopilot were crashing, and there was a big long line of them down the freeway, but they were trying to escape Long Island. There are a bunch of them crashed because the autopilot went crazy due to no GPS because you probably had satellites being shot down, etc. So all this is happening. She's saying, hey, don't trust these white people. Even Mom would agree with me on that. And obviously she's some kind of biracial because he is about my skin tone, real dark skinned guy, and she's real light skinned. So this is the whole biracial thing, just like Barack Obama, right? Obama is biracial. So there's probably quite a bit of him in this film, although he was not in the chair saying action cut. He was a producer on it and probably had a really big input on what was going on. So there's racism. There's the, this fully grown woman being infantilized. And the movie overall, as I close, it sucked. It wasn't good. It was very long. It was over 2 hours. It felt like it was about 3 hours, but it was really about 2 hours and 15, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Way too long. A lot of dialogue. It was an extended first act to the movie. There was no real reveal of the enemy, no reveal of the source of the cyber attack and the noise attack and things of this nature. All they did at the end, and again, spoiler alert, they showed a view of New York City from where they were in Long Island, and there were bombs coming down. Because what Mahershala Ali revealed is the whole point of this kind of attack on the nation is to destabilize it from within, so a civil war breaks out. And that's what they showed. This would have been much better if they were in the actual city and things were going down. Kind of like Last of Us, the video game, where you're able to see all the things going down, where you're able to see all the chaos and the panic, and you actually are able to come eye to eye with the enemy. That'd have been a good movie, but this right here was really cheap. It's like they just hired a bunch of actors, maybe because of Obama's name, and said, hey, do me a favor, come to Long Island for 2 weeks, film, and we'll be done. Minimal editing, a little bit of green screen, throw it on Netflix, turn and burn. That is kind of, in my opinion, the content model strategy for a Netflix with this kind of stuff. Make it as cheap as possible, generate interest online to get people to watch and sign up. It's not really about making good cinema, in my humble opinion. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Have you seen this movie? What's your take? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I did not like this movie. It was bad. I watched the entire thing. I didn't just watch clips and little, opinions and reviews and trailers. I watched the entire movie from beginning to end intently. I didn't like it. It sucked. It was bad. And not even because it's Obama and I'm not a fan of his. If it's a good movie, it's a good movie. It doesn't really matter who makes it, but this was not that. It was bad. So if you want to save 2 hours of your life, I suggest you don't watch it. If you watched it and you liked it, hey, that's fine, but you're going to be in the minority in my humble opinion. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.